Welcome, everyone. I'm Amy Seeley, president of Seeley Test Pros and Leap, helping students to succeed in all kinds of tests from 8th grade to grad school throughout Ohio.
And I'm Mike Bergin, president of Chariot Learning, helping students with test school and life based out of Rochester, New York.
Between the three of us today, we have over 84 years of experience at the highest levels of the test preparation and supplemental education industries.
We both love to talk and learn about the latest issues in education, testing, and admissions. So let's get down to tests and the rest. The fascinating test prep professional we want to profile today is Angie Kelley. We're so happy to be speaking with you today, Angie. How are you?
I'm good, Mike. I'm so excited to be here with you. Really appreciate the opportunity.
So, Angie, can you tell us a little bit about where you are and what you do?
Sure. I am based in Oklahoma City. I'm a native here to Oklahoma, and I am the founder of Land Run Learning, a test prep and tutoring company here, and really love to help students, high-performing students, go after their dreams and goals through test prep, and love coming alongside them in individual group settings, and that's what we're going after here in Oklahoma City.
Angie, is there significance to the name Land Run Learning?
Yes, there is actually. Oklahoma was founded as a state through the land run. We had actually several different ones in various areas. So part of the history of Oklahoma, but also tying to the idea of helping students go after the land or the dreams or the future that they want. Helping them, equip them, encourage them, empower them, give them practical tools to go after that land, to go after their dreams.
It's always so fascinating to talk to people when like talk about the naming of their company. And so we love hearing sort of that because it gives so much more sort of, interest to sort of how you perceive or how you look at the process of working with students. So tell us a little bit about how you got your start in test prep and what you were doing like before you actually were working with students for test prep.
Yeah, sure. Well, growing up, just to preface it, growing up, I was one of those kids who loved school. I really did. And loved doing assignments, loved feedback from my teachers, and that really led me to want to become a teacher, a high school math teacher. And so I was in the classroom for almost 20 years, and just a natural outgrowth of that kind of organically being a high school math teacher. Students, families, parents, would request math tutoring. And then that turned into, just over the years, turned into ACT prep, which here in Oklahoma, ACT is a little more popular than SAT. And then I was ready to make a change, to leave the teaching as a profession, as a full-time profession. So I launched out with my company as a way to continue to support students and parents, again, in their desire to go after, get into the schools they want so that they can pursue the goals they have. And so it was really getting into test prep. Was really just kind of an organic thing that happened just as being a classroom teacher.
It's a beautiful transition. Now, what was your training like? How did you master the skills, strategies, and content required of a test prep professional?
Yeah, well, it was funny, Mike, because when I first started, even as a classroom teacher, like my first thought was, oh, they just need the content. And then as I started working with more and more students, I realized, oh, no, this is much more nuanced than that, in terms of strategy, in terms of timing, in terms of mindset, all these things that come to play, because showing up for a student to prepare and show up on a certain day at a certain time and be able to bring their best, like that is a very different, it has some different dynamics, unique dynamics than doing a daily classwork. And so I kind of honestly, just when I first started, just kind of fumbled around a little bit, trying to learn what I can, and then found some resources, started learning some hard copy resources, and started learning from those. But I've found just over the last couple of years, getting connected with other professional test prep tutors has really been a game changer. Finding other people who've been doing this longer and who have experience that I don't. And so that's where I really felt like I've started to thrive as a test prep professional, when I've gotten connected with others who can help me continue to learn and grow, um, so that I can help more students more effectively.
I love how you kind of articulated that transition that many school-based teachers don't achieve, where they realize that what the students need to do to perform well on tests like the SAT or ACT involves a lot more than just content. And certainly students and parents don't realize this. I'm getting an A in math class. Why is this not translating to the test? Because it's different. It's more than just content. There are skills, strategies, problem solving skills that aren't tested, holistic understanding. I mean, like we all know, so we don't have to go over it. But it's, that once you have that realization, you are becoming a test prep tutor.
Mm. Yeah, that's so good. That's so good, Mike. And it's a huge part of it, right? How to teach students how to show up, even when they may not be feeling their best, or they may
Yeah,
have had a rough week, right? Can they show up in this opportunity and take their best shot?
Yeah.
100%.
No, I love this perspective of the teacher to the test prep because even like for me, like Angie, my background was not math, not grammar at all. So I led with the test prep, like more strategy stuff, and then over time, filling more in with the content. So it's interesting to kind of see a little bit like of like the reverse of that, which is a fascinating way sort of to look at it. So how has your practice sort of evolved now that you've moved more like I shouldn't say you're out of the classroom, but more out of like the traditional kind of classroom setting.
Hmm. Yeah, sure. So, originally it started off meeting with individual students and within the school I was connected to. And then, they started sharing with, getting some good referrals from them. But then I've moved into really launching some groups. I still do individual sessions, certainly. But as I've been able to connect more here in the community with schools and families, it's been really fun to have a group dynamic, where to bring a group of students together, where they can encourage and even hold each other accountable in a way that's a little different than my leading them. And I've gotten to connected to some schools here in Oklahoma City, which I'm really excited about serving the communities that way.
They should be excited about you.
Mm. So kind.
It sounds like, you are very happy with the move from in school to entrepreneurial, offering education outside the school. What are your favorite aspects of working in test prep?
Yeah, I think the idea of helping a student go after a very intentional, specific goal that they have, but framing it in the context of, there's so much involved, right? Because there's an entire mental, emotional component, um, and so helping students navigate this process of going after a goal, however, not letting it define who you are, like the result, right? But to embrace the process of who they're becoming in the journey of going after this dream. So I love to see students be able to hold both of those, kind of in the tension of that we're going after something specific, but also we're saying yes to the process of the preparation, being diligent, right, and being consistent and um, wanting to do things well. But ultimately, at the end of the day, right, there are going to be some things they can't control. But can they do their best in this process and say yes to the growth that's going to be needed, for them to do that? And so then if they don't get the result they want, because sometimes that happens, right? They still get to walk away, knowing that they've become more, that they've matured and they've grown, and that in and of itself helps them be more prepared for the next step of their journey.
Yeah. So how about what do you find to be frustrating or challenging in being a test prep? And I'm actually curious about this partially just from the standpoint is there are frustrations that might be unique to test prep that maybe you did not encounter in the classroom.
Hmm. Yeah, I would say probably my number one frustration or challenge, maybe just frame it as a challenge, right? Is going after the mindsets, helping students shift their thinking, of what's possible, especially in the realm of math. As a strong math background that I have, a lot of times students just don't think they're going to do well on the math portion, and so navigating, trying to find different ways to set students up for greater success in the math, getting them, helping them experience some small early wins, right, to build their confidence and to give them a different perspective of what might be possible. I think that's one of the biggest challenges for me.
Yeah. And I mean, it's one of the most important breakthroughs for a student to adopt the right mindset. And I mean, don't you find that like you're describing these students who don't recognize the importance of peak performance in the moment, but sometimes we do have students that come in and they have that context for sports or they have that context for performing arts, and they never think to associate that with an academic activity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, helping them transfer that, right? That it's really the same. It really is the exact same idea of having this opportunity, right? And it comes down to, right, focusing on processes. How am I preparing? Even things like, how's my sleep? Am I taking care of my sleep? Am I starting to eat breakfast? And then, the process of the test itself, when high performers are interviewed, it's like their preparation, they listen to the same songs.
Yeah.
They take the same amount of steps. They have this prescribed routine that sets them up so that they can take their best shot. So yeah, it is fun when students do see that connection of, oh, this is just like that. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. Speaking of fun, what is something that most of your colleagues would be surprised to learn about you?
I might say I have traveled a little bit around the world, but what they may not know is, or might be surprised, is that I actually spent a year teaching English in China.
Oh, wow.
How cool. Where in China were you?
I was in the Gansu province, which if you look at a map, they consider, anything that's not basically on the ocean on the coast, they consider Western China.
Yeah.
So, but it's technically it's really central. If you look at a map, it's like smack dab in the middle. But it's a more remote area.
So you were in a remote area, you were teaching English. How much Chinese did you pick up?
Unfortunately, not much, Mike. I did learn how to, I can use chopsticks pretty well, though.
Well, okay, that leads to a related question that I have. How is the Chinese food in Oklahoma City?
Yeah, it's a little.
That is a requirement for me. I have to live someplace with good Chinese food.
Well, we have great Mexican. So
okay. Yes. That makes more sense, though.
Totally. I mean, I find that like Chinese cuisine in the United States, this is the story of like a diaspora, and great chefs are showing up in the most random places.
That
you
is
never
true.
really know where you're going to find great Chinese food.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I put myself through college delivering Chinese food, so I have great affection for the geniuses in the kitchen. Well, Angie, we could talk about you all day. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you so much, Mike. Amy, so appreciate you guys.
If listeners would like to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Yeah, they can reach out to me through email, which is Angie@landrunlearning.com.
Awesome. We hope you enjoyed this discussion as much as we did. Be sure to join us for another fascinating topic and guest on the next Tests and the Rest.
Did you enjoy this episode as much as we did? Find expanded links and more for this and all of our episodes at our show page at testsandtherest.com. While you're there, be sure to explore everything the larger TestBright site has to offer, including real, expert, unbiased answers to the toughest admissions testing questions. Of course, we'd love for you to rate, review, and subscribe to Test and the Rest on your favorite podcast platform. If there's a topic or guest you'd like us to feature, just let us know and spread the word.